understanding into law. But I'll just shoot straight to my question. I want to get your understanding and how will you contribute better to my question. When you must elaborate on most of your responses, you had suggestions, a lot of them. So I also want, even on this one, for you to have, if you've got ideas on how you can better CGE in terms of the area that I'm gonna question you about. What is the role of the CGE in respect of compliance with the international treaties and obligations? You can mention one of the treaties that we have. As you know, we are a member state to other countries. Then, therefore, what will be your suggestions if there's one that you have been in? The one that you have studied, you have more information about. What will you change? What is it that you can recommend, and as well strengthen the memorandum of understanding? Thanks, Chair.
Okay. Thank you so much. So my understanding is that the CGE would execute the monitoring of international instruments and review of them, and ensuring their implementation and their compliance, especially where we have ratified the international instruments, and not so much those that have not been ratified and are not part of our legal system. I'm so glad that you've asked me this question, because I had there was a regional protocol called the SADC Protocol on Gender and Development that really riled me up. There's a section in the protocol dealing with persons with disability. And it was the thing that caught my attention about this instrument is that it was very detailed on a number of issues. It was difficult to floor it on that. But when it came to the discussion on gender and disabilities, it was one measly paragraph that said that, member states must implement something for the advancements of persons with disability insofar as gender is concerned. And that was it. And this is quite hurtful because persons with disability in our society are incredibly vulnerable. Going back to what I mentioned about intersectional forms of oppression, as you have a particular identity in society, you fall deeper into the whole of oppression. If you are Black, you fall deeper. If you're a woman, you fall deeper. If you're LGBTQIA+, you fall deeper. If you've got a disability, you fall deeper. If you are poor, you fall deeper. If you're from rural areas. So I really found that it was a very lazy and perhaps even a disrespect to persons with disability. But I just want to ground it in South Africa that 1 in every 15 people in South Africa is born with some or other birth defect. The weird thing is that up to 70% of those birth defects are preventable. But they are not prevented actively because the resources and infrastructure that are supposed to be put in place have collapsed. South Africa used to have one of the best medical genetic services and counseling in the region. And because of the HIV epidemic, those services have collapsed. So we opted to look at HIV as opposed to dealing with ensuring that mothers are healthy and give birth to healthy children, and that if a fetus has been detected as possibly having some kind of a birth defect, the appropriate measures can be taken, whether it's some kind of a rehabilitation or treatment can get started, and mothers can make a decision as to what they want to do going forward. The sad thing also, Honorable Member, is the fact that women in South Africa are subjected to poverty. So one of the reasons why we have birth defects is because of malnutrition, alcohol consumption, taking of drugs, long-standing illnesses. And women are typically unable to afford proper access to healthcare. I think it's like 10% of Black people in South Africa that have medical aid schemes. We are, Black women in particular, are the face of poverty in our region, not even in South Africa. And so they wouldn't ordinarily have access to nutrition such as folic acid that will make sure that a child is healthy when it's born. So if there was any change that I would make, Honorable Member, it would be to unpack that and to ensure that it is a requirement of every state to implement medical genetic services and counseling, throughout their healthcare system. Every mother that gives birth to a child must be educated on their health. There must be interventions rolled out in the communities to ensure that women are not ignorantly consuming alcohol and smoking and doing drugs and all of these things. They can be mitigated, they can be prevented with the appropriate awareness and the appropriate interventions put into place. Just on that note as well, there are only 4 institutions around the country, academic ones at that do genetic medical provide genetic medical services. And they are supposed to provide services to the whole country. There is 10 times less the amount in this country of service providers than what they actually ought to be. So I would change that and make it a protocol of the region, not of the continent, of the world, to make sure that those services are available, proper nutrition, proper education, when necessary, feeding schemes for those mothers who can't afford to eat healthily, and rehabilitation services for children that are born with birth defects.
Thank you very much. That was. Thank you very much. I'm sure that subject will invite you. It's important to empower each other on some of the things. I now give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. My apologies. My apologies. I even asked Kashifa, didn't I? And she confirmed to me. She said, yes, Chair. So my apologies. You can now introduce yourself.
Okay.
Tando.
So, and the bell won't go off when I introduce as a trade-off. I'm negotiating, Honorable Member. Okay. Thank you so much, Chairperson. So as you all know, my name is Advocate Tando Komete. I'm an admitted advocate of the High Court of South Africa. I am a certified and registered mediator with the Alternative Dispute Resolution Network of South Africa. And as mentioned earlier, I'm a businesswoman, having my own award-winning business, and I work not only in South Africa but across the borders of the country as well. From a qualifications perspective, I did my LLB at Wits University, and during that time, as I mentioned, I was the leader for one of the leaders of SASCO as well as ISEC. And after I graduated, I then went to go and work very briefly for the Lawyers for Human Rights. And I worked in the statelessness department. So I was helping mainly Black women from across the continent and children who are very vulnerable to gain their identity. So some of them didn't have statehood, didn't have any type of citizenship. And as a result of that, they couldn't access, the children couldn't access education. They couldn't access basic healthcare and obviously employment as well, which they need to survive. So it was a real honor to do that job for the brief time that I did. Then I, of course, went to go and serve in the judiciary And I'm also an Ellen Creobis Foundation Fellow. And so the Ellen Creobis Foundation Fellowship works to look for top scholars from around certain regions of the continent. And they look specifically for people who demonstrate leadership, people who are innovative thinkers, apply the entrepreneurial mindset to try and solve critical socioeconomic and political problems of our lifetime. And more importantly, this is a space where I actually learned how to become a businesswoman and to start my own business. So that's why I'm actually in business, for those who might want to know. And then in terms of my my public leadership and servants, I mentioned earlier that I'm serving on the National Strategic Plan for Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. I'm working on the technical committee with the Department of Safety and Security. And I spend a huge amount of my time engaging various stakeholders, companies, corporates, SMMEs, schools, communities, on various forms of oppression, with a very big focus. What I've become known for is the gender-based violence, anti-gender-based violence work and anti-racism work. Yeah, I think that's fine, because the other stuff I already mentioned. I don't want to be too redundant.
Thank you very much, Tando, Advocate Tando. We have come to the end of your interview. And thank you again for being considerate that you allowed Advocate Mohale to come in your place so that she can be able to travel back to Gauteng. Since her flight was today, today.
Yes.
And you'll be leaving when? Tomorrow or Sunday?
I'm leaving tomorrow in the morning.
Oh, okay. We wish you good luck.
Thank you.
Is there anything that maybe you want to share or you want to ask the committee?
Yes, there actually is. So I'd like to know from honorable members, how many names are you going to be recommending to the president?
Oh, okay.
So how many will he have to be picking from?
Okay. For now, the vacancies are two.
Mm-hmm.
For now, as for two part-time commissioners. And there are 4 vacancies of commissioners that will be ending end of October. And those 4 commissioners should be replaced by the 1st of November 2022, meaning this year. So now already is it September? Yeah, September.
Yes.
So end of October, 1st of November, those commissioners must start. So we haven't decided as the committee on how many are we going to shortlist, but we don't think we're going to shortlist like what we did with the NYDA. We'll try our level best to shortlist a reasonable number as much as we can. But I don't think it's going to be like NYDA. But we'll finalize it next week when we deliberate on our report. Yeah.
Okay.
But thank you.
No, thank you
for your patience. Sometimes the unforeseen circumstances of load shedding also had an impact.
Yeah.
And why do we finish late your interview?
Yeah.
And we thought that we'll be finished by 4. But unfortunately, when there was load shedding, we had to wait until the electricity is back because there was nothing we could do. We needed to record our work, and all candidates needed to be online, be viewed by the viewers, everybody, so that we don't find ourselves, being followed by letters, litigation, and so forth. Yeah, so we have tried our level best, but thank you very much. I think we have done our level best, honorable members. Anything else, honorable members, that I have forgotten? What is it that maybe we need to tell Utando? Nothing. Hell, I'm aging. Yeah? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Public comments. Thank you. Thank you. Public comments. You got 99 public comments. What was it?
Mostly positive, all positive.
Oh, positive. What did they say?
No concerning items.
Okay, 99, they were all positive. The 99 public comments, they were all positive. So we wish you good luck.
Thank you. I'm very humbled by those positive comments. I was very afraid.
You were afraid that in many companies.
I was.
And you have to explain yourself on why
was afraid.
You don't have a conflict of interest. Are you not doing business with government?
Yeah. No, well, I was just afraid that people would say like weird stuff. You know how people can be. So I'm very humbled that in a world that is as harsh as ours, people actually said positive things. I'm very humbled. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes. We wish you well in the good work that you're doing.
Thank you, ma'am.
Even with the new things that you have shared with us today, I'm sure we'll want to hear more from you regarding that, the things that you said, and then we'll invite you maybe sometime in the portfolio committee so that at least you can share with us the things that you presented, so that as the portfolio committee responsible for women, we deliberate on that and get more understanding, so that we know exactly what is it that we need to do oversight on in other departments. But thank you very much. We wish you good luck.
Thank you, honorable members. Have a blessed weekend and take good care. Thank you.
Thank you. Fly safe, ne?
Yes, I will.
Yeah. Honorable members, I think we've come to the end of our interviews. We'll be meeting Tuesday. We'll communicate with you what time are we meeting on Tuesday. It will be morning, obviously. And then we'll meet for deliberations on Tuesday. And Wednesday we'll be adopting our report and ATC it. And then we'll need to get a date from programming committee on when are we presenting this report. If they allow us to present it on Thursday, that will be a bonus. So that at least we're done with these interviews, with this project for CGE, and commissioners will be then appointed by the president. Maybe if they can be, that process can be facilitated by Parliament, at least the president will appoint commissioners in October, and they will start, I'm sure, all of them in November. Yeah. So that there's no gap. Yeah, thank you very much to our staff members for all the work that you have done for us. And thank you very much for I know that we kept you very late, up until 12 midnight. What time was it? 11 midnight at night. And all these other days, other people don't know the work that you are doing behind the scenes, even before we start about the interviews. Myself and you guys, we've been doing a lot of work on behalf of the committee, and we deserve to be paid, Bill, because we don't sleep. And unfortunately, sometimes I work with them until 12 midnight. It's like I'm harassing them, but it's because honorable members, you are doing it for the committee so that everything is in order and you get your documents ready, you get all the reports ready. And my apologies to your husbands, guys, and to your children, because, you know, when I call them, I call all of them one time and I say, teleconference, this and this and this and this, and they've never complained so far, you know. And my apologies. Now you can start enjoying your lives because we're done. And tell your husbands that I say thank you very much. God bless them. The meeting is urgent. I want to thank the sign language interpreters. They have done a credible work for us. Thank you very much, honorable members.
Thank you, Chair. Travel safe.
Thank you, guys. Fly safe.
Thanks, Chair.